does that.
I don't know how I know you, John, but I know you, and it's been a pleasure.
You actually met me through one of my other clients, Ortiz down there, and yes, so and then he introduced you to me, and then we had a talk, and we've been friends ever since. So,
kind of popping each other's radars every once in a while.
what do you do, Cindy?
I'm a life and dating coach, mainly
Okay.
a dating coach at this moment. Working on that, doing my focus, and then I'll expand as time moves on.
Okay.
Because, yeah. And what about you, Mark?
Okay, so I am located in Bantry, County Cork, on the west coast, southwest coast of Ireland. So if you basically stepped off our coast, you'd end up in either the east coast of the United States or more likely Iceland or Greenland, likely dead. But I'm right on that beautiful area of the coast. I'm a former corporate hack who was made redundant twice, which is laid off twice in your terms. But I am a user researcher by profession and currently a software developer for an entrepreneur. And that's what I do. I'm highly technical and need to learn to speak a little bit more simply. But my goal is to help as many people as possible, as well as building my own wealth and whatever. But my own goal is, because I've done this thing on the wall here, is a degree, is a master's in design research, and so it taught me to put my customers' desires before my own, and I've learned through the hard way that is a key thing of moving forward. You probably know this yourself, and that's the way I want to carry out my goal, is to, what, as well as getting the benefits, but I want to serve.
I would like for you guys both to connect with each other because it's all about networking.
Absolutely.
You know, there we're always talking to people that maybe even I don't think Cindy's just a dating coach. I think she's a relationship coach that may be able to help even the married couple that is battling things and how to get complete in themselves. And if I speak out of turn, Cindy, just smack me. Uh, but there's so much to our stories and our souls, and so then, but and then Mark, I think you have a fantastic just a fabulous idea that even Cindy may want to learn. Tell us in a snapshot, because you need to learn how to speak simply. Tell us the platform that you sell right now, because he actually has a product that is great for coaches and great for what we do, Cindy. So
Absolutely.
go ahead and tell us what you do.
So I have software developed by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and it basically it gives you freedom. It gives you time back to focus on your business or going to the beach. Or it also helps you leverage your business and your relationships organically without you having to make a maximum effort. And as Jonathan pointed out to me, some people are consumed by doing their business rather than working on their business. My software gives you the freedom to work on your business.
What's it do for Facebook? Because Cindy, you're involved with Facebook a lot, right? Different groups and stuff like that, right?
More than I'd like to be, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what we do is it is a CRM. You know what a CRM is? Okay, so customer relationship management database that does basic features of that, lets you schedule calls, etc. What's exciting about ours is that it automates your Facebook integration. So if you are busy liking loads of posts and putting on comments just to build your organic reach, you can hire our software to act like a human being, which is what it does, and do it for you.
Cindy bot, how about that?
Yeah, but it's a human one. So we've done this so that it's not detected as a bot. It is acting like a human being. So it carries it. It's like you've hired an assistant that doesn't need breaks, need to go to the bathroom, doesn't need insurance, doesn't care to talk to you or talk back to you. So you can build your engagement, but there are additional features that lets you do really good keyword searches. So you can look, if you want to dive deep into the personas of who you're looking for, if you're a relationship coach, you can use keywords that basically goes across your groups, so any groups that you're members of, and will pull that data. So people are saying things about themselves that describe themselves as someone who needs relationship management. You can give it keywords to pull that towards you. You can add them as leads to your CRM. You can make friends with them, and you can send messages to them. And the other beautiful feature is that you don't have to be sitting at your keyboard sending message after message to each lead. You simply type in one message. You'll have grouped and tagged your users based on, say, prospects or whatever way you want to label them. You select that group, press send, and then go open a bottle of wine. And
I think it's bloody brilliant, Cindy. And this is not a sales pitch from Mark. And this is why I want you guys to connect. Just anybody that's in my what I call family. I want us to all connect to each other, because Cindy knows people I don't know. I know people Cindy doesn't know. Mark knows people Cindy doesn't know. Cindy knows people Mark doesn't know. But and if we scratch each other's back, I mean, that's the whole beauty of what I want to do, is empower and inspire people. But Cindy wants to save people either the hell of going through a marriage, or getting out of a marriage, or just having a deeper relationship with themselves, so they don't just create a freaking mess when they find another mess. And so so there's so many things out there, but I did want him to snapshot what he does, because I think it's bloody brilliant. I mean, because I send so many, like you guys keep saying, I keep showing up like a bad penny. Well, that means I'm showing up physically at the computer, typing and copying and pasting and sending this and liking this and trying to respond to this comment and that comment. And if I could automate that process, it'd be a lot better.
We need to automate you, Jonathan, so you don't have to do your instructor. We could just have an avatar.
Well,
we can automate everything else and just have them do Fat Fitness Instructor 24/7.
Yeah. Well, does anybody here, either of you, struggle with anything specifically that you would like me to cover, that you can share openly, where we're going to get something out of this? I'm going to let your microphones stay on for this. This is going to be an interactive kind of thing. I'm going to go through things, and if I go through two things too fast, I want you to slow down. If you want me to clarify something, just so I'm kind of glad you're both here with me. So we're going to just, and this is being recorded. So if you say, John, don't record this, but I do have this.
Yeah.
So you guys, and then I will send you a link to this afterwards. So you will have this. I do say still take notes. If you hear something now, because I still have to process this video,
sure.
And then you'll have it, and you can watch it anytime you want. But anybody have anything that they really struggle with right now that you think that you hope that I cover in this? What would you like to gain out of this, I guess? So
again, ladies first.
So I am struggling with finding clients. That's why I do the Facebook. But some days I feel like that's all I do is Facebook. And I would like to move out of Facebook, still do my engagements. I enjoy that part, but I really need to be able to pluck people out and get paying clients.
Okay.
That, and then I really struggle with content. I mean, like I said to you yesterday, John, I know my material, but when I go to say type of content, for my website or Facebook, it's not there. Like, I gotta go find it. I gotta go find a topic and I gotta go read it. And I just feel so incomplete. And I don't know if that's just my mind. But if I'm having a conversation with someone, it just freely pours forth. So I don't know. I don't know if you can help me with that.
Okay, I think I can. Mark?
I feel a bit, my problem is confidence in my value. And what I mean by that is that we had the discussion earlier, Jonathan. I'm not charging enough for my services. I am having similar problems to Cindy in terms of looking for clients. But for me, I think it is a case of just having the confidence to present. I am comfortable on camera. I am comfortable in speaking. I'm also comfortable putting content together. And Cindy, as you were talking, there's a couple of ideas I would have for you, but I'll let Jonathan take the reins on that. But there's a couple of things I could do to help you if you need help after this call. But my main concern is I'll simplify it. I have a working class subconscious mindset because I grew up in working class, and it limits my beliefs in myself. And I don't want to denigrate working class people because they are the salt of the earth, but at the same time, the salt of the earth is how we came up with salary. That's what salt is. Salary used to be paid in salt, but I would like to, because I think it's limiting what I'm delivering to people, I would like to see more confidence in myself and see more value in myself so I can be of more service. That makes sense.
I think we can cover all that today. I think your confidence is gonna go up by the end of this for both of you. You're gonna start being able to predict your life like they predict the weather.
I turned my volume down.
Well, if I turn my volume down on my computer,
Oh, it's ringing on your computer.
it rings on my computer too. So if I turn my volume down, I won't be able to hear you. And I do get calls through Messenger quite a bit from people that see a post and then they say, and I'm going to teach you guys. In fact, I'll just cover this right now. I believe that it would be a very wise thing for both of you to pick if you wanted to pick a book, Cindy, that was a relationship book. I really believe that Think and Grow Rich is probably one of the best books that was ever written, other than the Bible myself. But what's that?
As a relationship book?
Because it creates a relationship with yourself, with money, with who you are, with infinite intelligence, with God, with faith, with just everything. So, but you can pick a book. I don't care what book it is. Now, if it's Danielle Steele's romance novels, I would just say forget those. But if it's a self-help book, if it's going to teach you a little bit more about yourself, about psychology, about sociology, about anything like that, pick up a book and begin to read it out loud. In fact, read it out loud and put it on a voice recorder, a digital recording. Let yourself read out loud. Number one, you're going to be creating something called product for your clients later. So you're going to be creating product. Well, what do I mean by product? It's product they can't sell, but they become a client. And you've got it recorded, and you have these chapters recorded of this book. Now you're going to say you can't sell this, but this is a way for you to keep your mind fresh. It's an audio recording that you have it spoken. And then also what you're going to do is you're going to build confidence. You're going to build your speaking capability. You're going to be reading it out loud. And then you're going to listen to it back again, because it's called net time. no extra time. So I read books, I read them out loud. And then I want you to teach the book on Facebook.
Okay.
I want you to teach from the book, not say, hey, I read this book the other day. I don't say I read Think and Grow Rich. I just start coming off with thoughts or things and powerful things at that when they're mixed with a definiteness of purpose and a burning desire for their attainment. And what does that mean? You know, you have to have a specific idea. You have to have a burning desire. You have to have a definiteness of purpose. But I'm not telling everybody that I just got done reading a chapter in Think and Grow Rich and it said this. I've read this book so much. And then I write a report. I write a report, like a book report. I write out, how did it apply to my life? What did I gain from that? Then that's what I'm going to teach. And when you teach that, and then another thing you're doing is on Facebook Live or on YouTube Live or on Instagram or whatever your vehicle of choice is, but stick with one. So you gain a following. You'll gain a following. And if you have 750 followers in your Facebook and you have 2 followers in your Instagram, you probably want to stick to the Facebook because you have more followers there. So, and they could be friends and family and people you don't even know. I think I have about 1,400 followers now, and I know 12 of them. So but I stick on that platform and then I'll post it to different groups. But I want you to teach this stuff. This is what I learned. Then I teach it. And guess what that'll do? You'll be by the end of a week, you do it 3 times a day. You show up like a bad penny. And I would say, Cindy, you could read this book, but you could also read a relationship book and learn psychology of relationships and things like that and learn out of it. And then it's going to speak something to you. When I read, I get ideas that aren't even from the book.
True.
So you'll get something that, wow, that's why I'm doing this. And then you teach that again. So that's why I would suggest strongly that you do this at least 3 times a day, twice a day. You know, you could do it early in the morning. You could do it late at night. But you pick a time and you stay consistent and then you keep showing up. I don't do videos every hour and every minute of the day, but people say, you keep showing up, John, you keep showing up because I'm consistent. I do it every day. I show up somewhere in their storyline as it's going down. So that's what I would recommend. And same thing with you, Mark, just get even about, I mean, if you're passionate about CRMs, teach CRMs, man. Just teach CRMs. Teach the capabilities. So go ahead.
Sorry, the one to Cindy, have you come across Think and Grow Rich before?
Only through Jonathan, and I've heard it like 5 times.
Well, the interesting thing about this book, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I heard of this book about 1.5 years ago, and it keeps turning up to the point where I'm actually thinking that it is God himself is hitting me over the head and saying, read this book.
Well, I think we should start a book club then and read it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually listening to the book. I meant to order it today, I didn't, but I'm listening to the book. You can listen to this on YouTube. There are at least 100 communities about Think and Grow Rich on Facebook that you can jump in. And one of the things I've done is, even though I haven't got a copy of the book, a legitimate copy of the book, I've got Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, which is a good book, by the way, and it actually helped me use to map out stuff. But you can just put your stuff in there. I've put videos in there, and they've let me post videos. I posted a video on sacrifice. It just came to me, and I thought I'd be kicked out. I've posted a couple of videos since that they've knocked back because they're saying you're marketing, and I wasn't. I was actually talking about a very specific thing. But again, it's that book just keeps, just like Jonathan, who's a bad penny, that book keeps turning up in my life like a bad penny. And I'm warning you, you can try and walk away from it. I say embrace it now. Whereas I tried to ignore it. I just didn't want to have this book, but it keeps turning up in my life.
Well, I tell you guys, I love the book because it was written in a time. This guy, Napoleon Hill, he created over 600 millionaires in a time where they had absolutely nothing, and yet they created everything. And we have everything, and yet we create nothing. And
Air.
so anyway, that's something I would give you about increasing your confidence level and showing up. Just 90% of life is just showing up. And today, I remember the days where I had to put a dime or 35 cents into a phone booth because I didn't have a cell phone. I remember the days before the cell phone. I remember the days before a phone. I remember the days when I had a party line in our house where there might be somebody else on the phone, and you had to wait for them to get off the phone. I remember the days of call waiting.
Oh my gosh!
And
About
yeah, so I remember the days where when my TV was a colored TV. The first TV we had was a colored TV. 2 colors, black and white.
Wait, I had that too.
Yeah, same here. I remember when my parents got the first real color TV. I got the black and white.
Now we have a TV on our phone. Now we
Yeah.
have technology that's available to us, guys. There is no reason that we are living in a world of abundance. You have to. It's not even just the country. There's another book out there I highly recommend. It's from Earl Nightingale. It's called The Strangest Secret. In it, he talks about we are living in, just days of abundance. And this was written in 1960. And he said, and he also called it the phenobarbital age, the age of ulcers and the age of aches and pains. That was in the 1960s, by the way. Now, everywhere we look, we've got a pill for this and a pill for that, and a drug for this and a drug for that, and we have depression and anxiety and panic attacks and all this stuff, and yet back then they didn't have any of this stuff. They didn't even know what a panic attack was, but now everybody's got a panic attack.
What's the name of the author for that book?
Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale. In it, he said thoughts are things. Thoughts, we become what we think about. And if you think about nothing, you're going to become nothing. And the strangest secret is simply that. In our world that we live in, we have an abundance of possibilities, and yet we haven't learned how to create a life. We haven't learned how to create a life with everything that we have at our disposal. We still make excuses. And yet we have a television station called Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr. The list goes on and on about the different avenues to where you can actually have your own television station. I mean, I know people that have 3 million followers on YouTube, and they're 8 years old. And they unbox toys. And they've got millions of followers on YouTube. And then I look at my YouTube channel and I got 2. But
We need to be 8 again.
So with that said, I'm going to share my screen here with you. We're going to get into something here. Oh, there we are.
What city is that?
What city is that? I have absolutely no idea, but it looked good at the time.
We're going to say it's France.
I got this program back in, actually back in 2007. I wrote this program and I've been living by it ever since. And the reason I came up with the term Success GPS is I actually won a GPS system in the call. I won it as a sales contest. And I was so excited about the GPS because this was in the day before we didn't have Google Maps. I didn't have a cell phone, didn't have a smartphone. My first cell phone came in a bag, and it looked like I was got back from Desert Storm with it. I mean, it was a huge phone, honking thing. And they called it a car phone. Well, it would only work because of the antenna that was attached to the car. And it was 90 cents a minute.
Jeez.
It was 90 cents a minute. It was roaming. And I was always roaming. And you got 60 minutes of calling.
I think I had probably the same phone.
Yeah. And I got my first bill, and it was bigger than the phone. It was like a $500 cell phone bill. The first one I got, I was like, oh my gosh. So whenever I used to have to do direct sales, going out to farmers' homes, and whenever you get directions from a farmer or somebody that lives in the country, they're very hard to follow. I mean, they'll say things like, well, it's just down the road a piece. And when you get to the second bridge, you done went too far. And when you get to, do you remember the barn? I'm not from here, sir. He says, when you get to the barn, now that barn is no longer there, but when you get to where that barn was, you're going to turn left on that gravel road. It's just down the road from that barn. And you'll know it's that road because there's a big old rock on the left-hand side of the road. It's the middle of the night, sir. It's 8 o'clock. There's no street lights out here. How am I supposed to know all these? And I don't even know where, I don't know how to get to your house. So I would have to do something called MapQuest or Rand McNally or a map.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or pull out the atlas and do the E. Boom. Having a compass. I had a compass in my car, so I knew what was north, so I can find my way home. And so I was like, so when I got this GPS, I was so excited, man. I heard that this GPS could get me to where I wanted to be. And I just plug in where to, and it takes me there. So I got home. I drove straight home. I took this box out. I was excited. They gave me, by the way, I won, when I got the GPS unit, when I won the GPS unit, I won $13,000 cash along with the GPS unit.
Wow.
But I was more excited about the GPS unit because I was so sick of doing MapQuest and trying to find a map and all that. And MapQuest was this application. I think it's still out there, but it was even better than Google Maps. It was like the thing. And you type in MapQuest, and you could tell it a destination, and it'd give you a map, and then you print it out on your dot matrix printer. If nobody knows what a dot matrix printer is, they have not lived. Or the first HP inkjet that when it would print, it would go. Oh. It would take forever to get this thing out. So I was so excited about this GPS unit. I came home, I got this thing. Oh man, I was thrilled. There was no two ways about it. I pulled it out of the box. It was a Garmin Nuvi. It was called a Garmin.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was the cream of the crop, tip of the top. That's where it stood, and that's where it stopped. And I was excited. I pushed where to, because on the screen it just said, it had this screen that kind of looked similar to this here. It had a go to on it. And I hit that go to, and then it asked me for the address. It asked me where I intended to go. And I typed in the address. And the address I used was the address of the office that I just come from. But I was so excited. I got out in my car. I didn't just follow the map they gave me to try it out. I got in my car, and I wanted to see how well this thing would work, because I'm like, I was skeptical, to say the least. This is really going to work. So I plugged in the address. I knew exactly where I was going. I'd been there numerous times. I could go there blindfolded. But I wanted to see if Margaret, that's what I call her, that voice, I wanted to see if Margaret would get me there. So I got in my car, plugged it in, typed in the address, 1450 Northeast 14th Street, Ankeny, Iowa. Remember it like it was yesterday. And Suite 57. So I plugged in that address, and it got me there. I was pissed, to say the least, because I followed it to the letter. It got me there, but it took me 25 miles out of the way.
Oh,
And I was like, this is a piece of junk. This is like a blackberry, or it's a dingleberry. It's a piece of crap. Like this, I can't have this. So I went back home and I was ready to return it. I was ready to box it up, saying this is a piece of crap. I guess it's going back to Netflix. And I thought, there's this little thing, down in the bottom right here, you'll see on the screen a little gearbox, and it says settings. Well, I call the whole mind of the machine the menu. We have a menu up here. It's called the mind of the machine. The mind is the most powerful computer on the face of this earth. It is the most powerful computer. We have a perfect memory. Don't ever let anybody tell you, including yourself, you don't have a perfect memory. Because a lot of people say, well, I don't have a perfect memory. I don't have a good memory at all. No, you have a perfect memory. You're speaking the English language, one of the hardest languages to learn, and you got it down pat. You can speak it. You can pretty much sound out a word. You can spell. You have a perfect memory. There's no such thing as a perfect memory. There's weak memories, but there's no such thing as a bad memory. Only weak ones. But you do have a perfect one. You can call something up from your childhood, from your past, just like that. Boom, call it up, and people say they don't have a memory. If you know how to read, you have a perfect memory. Perfect memory, okay? So the settings, when I went into the settings, I found something very, very interesting with the settings. And I call them set-ins. You guys ever heard anybody saying they're just set in their ways? This is the way it is. This is the way it's going to be. Mm-hmm. I guess this has to be the way. If you're 30 years old, like you two are, if you're 30, we have 262,400 hours of mental conditioning. Now, if we're a little above 30, we just have more hours. If we're a little under 30, we have less. But we all have at least 300,000 hours of mental conditioning by the time we're 30. Now, an hour-long seminar and all that, unless you're committed to the renewing of your mind and reprogramming your mind and all that. So I had to go into the settings, and I found out something very, very interesting. It was set at the factory for the default mode. There was nothing wrong with the GPS. What was wrong was the settings of the GPS. It was set for the default mode. It was set for the scenic route. And I got to thinking about our life. Isn't our life set for the scenic route? Because when we were born, we came out on the chute of life, laid on the conveyor belt, and our factory was our mom and our dad and our brothers and our sisters and our aunts and our uncles and our cousins and our pastors and our teachers and our priests and our lay leaders and everybody was putting us together or tearing us apart. And we were just like on an assembly line. We were set at the factory for the default mode. And now some people were set, like Mark, he was set to make billions. No, he was set to make nothing. He was set in a lack and limitation environment. Depends on what your environment was, Cindy. If you take a person from Iowa, take a person that was born in Iowa, take a person that's born in China. Switch them at birth. One is raised by a billionaire Chinese man. One's raised by a broke farmer in Iowa. Kind of beats his kid every once in a while, too. There's abuse and neglect, but the Chinese kid over there He's from Iowa. So he was born in America. The Chinese kid, born in China, switch him. Is the Caucasian little boy, the little blonde boy that's over in China, is he Chinese or is he an American? By the time he's 30, he's Chinese. Is he comfortable with money? Very. It has nothing to do with our birth. It has nothing to do with our heredity. It has to do with how we're programmed. And if you're set for the scenic route, I was set for the scenic route. I was set, Dad left when I was 3. There was abuse from the time I was 5 to the time I was 14, so I had to deal with that. And then there was, so I was set for abuse. I was set for neglect. I was set for identity crises. I was set for, I'll let you guys fill in the blanks and use your imagination and then post it on Facebook later. But I was set for divorce. I was set to never graduate high school. I was set to not make it in college. I was set for financial difficulty. I was set for a lot of things. I had to see a lot of things. When you were going on a trip, we got our destination. And I don't know about you, but I want to get to the destination as fast as possible when I paid for the trip. I don't, but we all have somebody in that car. If you get in the car with a family and you're driving across country, you got that one person in there. Can we stop here? Can we stop here? Because I want to take some pictures. I want to take some pictures. Well, guess what? In our own mind, guys, because of the way we're programmed, we have a passenger. Can we stop and look at divorce? Can we stop and look at poverty and lack and limitation and unable to get clients? Can we stop and take a look at this stuff? Can we stop and take a look at the hard road? Can we stop and take a look at the gravel road? Can we stop and take a look at this thing? Make sense? I hope so, because that's how we're set. We all have set ends. We're all set in our ways, and we're going to get to that. But then there's a few other things that were on this screen I thought was interesting. It's our route plan. Many of you planned your route. What route did you plan today? Probably did the same thing you did yesterday when you got up this morning. And sometimes we're in a rut, and a rut is simply a grave with no ends. And so we have a rut plan. And if you keep doing the same things over and over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results. But actually, you will not get the same results. You will get worse results. As inflation goes up and your income stays the same or even goes down a little bit, that's a little worse result. So, and then we have the recent destinations of where we've been in the past, and what we've seen in the past. And we got our favorites, and those are our habits. And then we got go home. If if the vehicle blows up, you can always go home. It's either go big or go home. So we got that option. We can tuck our tails in between our legs, and we can just say, forget it, I failed again, and I can go home. And then we get the shared points of interest. Oh, this is where we get around our negative friends, and we start talking about all the places that we've seen. And it happens at the church that we used to go to. Notice I said the church we used to go to because I got tired of going to that place, because every lady in the church was like, oh, my sciatica, my back. And then they get together. Oh, you think you got sciatica? Let me tell you about my COPD. And it's just non. And we share the gossip and the negative Nellies and all that. And we get around our families and our friends, and we share where we've been. And yeah, you're right, Mark. You shouldn't have stepped out into that. Cindy, what are you thinking? You're a relationship coach. Think about all your past relationships that haven't worked out. Duh. I've learned through those things. I've learned through those experiences. That's why I'm deciding to go forward in this. And because it's a passion of mine, because I don't want people to make the same mistakes I've made in the past. And I have a love and I have a heart to help people down the road. So these are the things that we face with, though. Now, I said all that to say this. This guy is this white screen. I look at a white screen and I don't know what to create. I'm having a hard time coming up with content. And that's why I recommend that you begin to read those books on a regular basis and that you draw from those books, and that'll give you the content. But I want you to focus on this white screen, guys. This is your world. This is a whole lot of nothing. This is a whole lot of white noise, basically, is what it is. It's just white noise. It's not really doing anything, not really seeing anything. But then I just want you to focus on this one little area in the center. That's actually you. That's your mind. That's your thoughts. That's your lack. That's your limitation. That's your platform. Now, if you're on this platform, picture that. Stare right at that blue screen, that blue dot. And I just want you to let your mind go for a minute. Let your mind open up. That's you. That's your platform. Who are you helping on that platform? Do you have a big circle of influence or a small one? Who are you really, with the limited thinking and the limited ideas and the limited ways? I mean, really, what are you really gaining here? I've been stuck on this platform for so long. Now, when you just expand and you just start thinking, well, you know, it's scary to be on the edge, but I always tell people, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up way too much space. So as you focus on that, what if, Cindy, you did something that you've never done before?
Let's do it.
What if you took massive action? What if you took uncomfortable action? Right? You're looking at that dot. What if you just stepped out into the unknown and just got a little bigger? Just how's your world changed now, though? When you look at that. I mean, when you go from one, if you take a chance, Mark, and you say, oh, I can't, you know, just because I might not be able to financially swing it right now doesn't mean somebody else won't. And you got a little bit bigger platform. Now you're going places. Now you're actually able to help a few more people because you've expanded some things in your head and you've expanded some thoughts. But now let's just really take it to another level. Let's get freaky deaky here, and let's just really just kind of step into, you know, how, you know, what is happening. And when you focus on this area, now your platform's bigger. Now you're helping more people. Now you're growing. I always stress that we work harder on ourselves than we do on our jobs, and that you learn. If you're not learning, you're not earning. And if you're not earning, probably not learning. I'm not talking about learning the technical side of things. I'm talking about learning the philosophical side of things.
Yeah.
Really expanding our mind and expanding where we're at, and stop hanging on to those limiting negative beliefs. Every time you think about saying the word I can't, you should replace them with I must. Well, I can't get on the Facebook Live every day. I must get on the Facebook Live every day. I'm not good enough right now. I must be good enough. I don't have the luxury of not being good enough anymore. I don't have the luxury of these limiting beliefs. And so as you stare into your future and as you focus on that go-to, that destination, how does your world change now? Your whole life just changed right before your very eyes. I mean, now you're starting to see some potential. You're starting to see some you know, even in our conversation a little bit earlier, Mark, you know, just from getting out a calculator and just how many clients is it going to take at this level? Oh my gosh. I'll be working till Jesus comes to get those. But if we, okay, what am I worth? What am I valued at? Well, we don't get paid for what we want. We get paid for what we're worth. You know, we can want we can want $20,000 a month all day long. Be nice to have it, but are we worth $20,000 a month? I believe we are. I believe we are. You have more electricity in you guys than that could light up a city of 15,000 for 8 days. They've proven it. And that's each day, guys. Each day you wake up with that amount of energy going through you, the amount of electricity, the electronic switching station, everything that's in you, the heart that's pumping in you. When your heart stops, how do they get it started again? They take out these paddles and they send, with the same paddles you can kill a guy, but with those same paddles you can bring life to them, because you have so much electricity flowing in you that can light up a city for 8 days. They've proven it. It's an amazing feat. So now if you think about your worth, then if you could light up a city for 15,000, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, take the kilowatt hours times the going rate, whatever your monthly utility bill is, times it by 7. Or times it by, let's see, yeah, whatever your monthly bill is, take it and times it by 15,000.
Crikey. Oh, wow.
How much is it?
1 second now.
600,000.
Now take that and times it by 8 days.
Speakers.
What are you worth now? What is that? 600,000 by...
4,800,000.
That's what you're worth to the marketplace per day, guys.
God almighty. That's
Just
incredible.
it's a client.
Now look at this blue circle. What would you do if your yearly income, both of you look at this blue circle right now, stare right at it, and I'm going to ask you a question. What would you do? What would you have? What would you be? How would it make you feel knowing that your monthly income has turned, your yearly income has turned into your monthly income?
Beyond the borders. So beyond the borders, I haven't even thought that far.
And when I had the fortunate privilege of meeting Bob Proctor in 2005, he asked me that same question, and I said there'd probably be a cleanup in aisle 5 because I'd shit my pants. And I said I don't think it could happen. That's where I was in my limiting beliefs. I said I don't think it could happen. He said you're right, never will. He then proceeds to tell me he thinks I'm one of the most miserable men he has ever met in my life. And I'm like, well, who the hell do you think you are? And he said, because you remind me so much of myself when I was your age. And at that moment, I said, I want to be just like that guy. I want to do what he does, but I don't only want to do what he does, I want to surpass him. I want to meet him at the post and surpass him. And in this day and age, with the technology that we have, and I don't think it's going to take a long time if we get our heads out of our butts. And we get out of our heads sometimes, and we get into our heart, and we get into our passion, and we know what we're doing, and we know why we're doing it. Because of what we do, guys, is our vehicle. All the stuff you do. Now, I love this, what we're doing right now. This is my passion. This is my dream. Getting to this point and having you guys in front of me and seeing transformation, and hopefully I'm bringing value, and there's things that are changing in your minds already. Your minds are being reprogrammed, remodeled, reshaped. This is what I love. But getting to this, the steps to get there, that's a vehicle. I mean, this is going to be what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. That what I do and who I am is kind of congruent with me. But if you have a passion that surpasses the vehicle, a destination, you have to have so large of a goal that it excites you and scares the hell out of you at the same time. One that's so in tune with your mental and spiritual core, you're going to willingly dedicate all of your waking hours to its attainment, so that you can say at the end of your life, I am so grateful, Lord, to this idea that used my life, whether I make another dime or not. And when you have that passion, you will have energy that you didn't even know of. There was an old guy, his name was Jesus. He's the carpenter from the plains of Galilee. And he told his disciples one day, he said, I have food that you know not of. And I thought, when I first read that, I was like, well, that doesn't make a bit of sense. Well, his food was to do the will of him who sent him. He had such a burning passion on the inside, he was going to do that. That's what he was going to do. He came to do that purpose. What purpose did you come here for? What is that end all to be all? That the thing that you do tomorrow, if you knew it wouldn't fail, that thing, that organization that you would start, that foundation that you would help, that scholarship program, what's the fuel that lights your broiler? So, but think about that circle now. How has our life changed in just these few minutes in our mind? Because Viktor Frankl wrote in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he was a Jew that was arrested and he was put in a concentration camp, and he was there for 5 years. And he wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He said, they can take everything away from you except your right to choose your own way. And so what is it that really lights the fire in your broiler? And your mind, in your mind's eye, we've just changed. We've just changed. If you can see, who am I helping now, Mark? What's your company look like now? Because now I'm so happy and grateful now that it's here. Now, I mean, my gosh, now you're living life on your own terms. Success isn't simply that. Cindy, how many relationships would you don't have enough time in the day to be helping the people that you're helping at this level. You've got more confidence. I can see you going across the stage, back and forth, on Zoom calls, left and right, got a bestseller, New York Times on how to, you've got to have, when we were kids, guys, you remember when you were kids, and even in our lack and limited thinking sometimes, when it came time to see that fat guy in the red suit with the white beard, what type of list did we have for him?
An extensive one.
Oh, an extensive one. But my gosh, somehow along the way, we just stopped dreaming.
Yeah.
And when you say, your location with the GPS, you must know exactly where you are. And you got to be brutally honest. For a GPS, it's a must. You got to identify where you are in each area to know for where you know where you're going, in your health, in your wealth, and in your relationships. But, when we know what we want, life is easy. And if we know where we are, because the thing about GPS, even with your Google Maps application, what's it say? If you don't have something turned on, you got to have it turned on. What is that, Mark? It has to know your what. In order for it to get you where you need to go, it has to know your
location.
Your location.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was something else. But
That's
yeah,
all right.
that's no location.
He's asleep over there. He's leaning back and he's reclining back.
No, your location. Yeah. And it also wants the ability to track you.
Yeah. And so you got to have the location turned on. You got to see. I believe that the satellite of the universe, the infinite intelligence, God, the source of all good, our mind is the receiver. And when we tell it where we want it to go, we send out a signal to now, if we're all over the map in our life and we're not specific and we don't know where we are, we really haven't been brutally honest with this. A lot of us tend to wear these facades and wear these masks and all that. We wear them with our families, we wear them with this. But if we really get brutally honest and we know exactly where we are in our health, in our wealth, and our money, our relationships, for instance, money. Money is I'll tell you a story if I can. When I was 8 years old, my mom had 10 kids. She raised us by herself. And she asked me if I wanted to go to Kmart with her. And I'm like, I'm a kid in a candy store at Kmart. Let me go to the toy aisle and I'll, look at things that I can't afford, look at things that we'll never get. And I thought it was like, ticket to the chocolate factory. And so I said, sure. And then we get there and she says, now, Johnny, don't ask for anything. Well, I'm a stupid kid. And she comes back to the toy aisle and I asked for the toy. And she says, Johnny, very politely, she asked me, I told you not to ask for anything. Now put it back. Well, I did the most logical thing that I thought at that time. I dropped down on my hands and knees and I began to have a temper tantrum right there in front of God and everybody. Well, she proceeds to grab me by the arm, thought she was going to rip it out of my socket, and pulled down my pants in front of God and everybody and proceeded to beat me with the toy that I wanted.
Oh.
Well, let's just say I never did that again. I never asked for anything again. And I still to this day wonder why we were at a store with no money, but what she meant was no money for me. She had money for her and the things that she needed, but not for me. But to this day, guys, I will go into a store, and even though I could buy what I'm looking at 5 times over sometimes, even though I've got the money to do it, you know what I'm sitting there thinking?
I can't afford it.
Don't have any money for this. And then I got to say, wait a minute, John, you got plenty of money right now. Go ahead and buy it. But that's how imprinted things can get on our minds, guys, on our minds that we hang on to. And that's why it's so important to have a daily, you don't just do this once at a seminar. Like I went through Unleash the Power Within virtual. And I've talked to so many people since then, or there was Tony Robbins did a comeback challenge. I don't know if either of you were aware of that, but I saw so many posts coming to the end of that comeback challenge. Oh, why is it got to end? I can't believe it's over. I wish it would continue. Yeah, because we like the rah-rah.
Yeah.
We like the hype and it kind of takes us away from our realities there. But when we realize, what is money? I mean, when you think of money, Cindy, what do you think of?
What do I think of? I think of dollar bills, $100 bills. That's what I think of.
So, now, what are terms that you gravitate towards with money, though? Like, yeah, have you heard of any terms like from your childhood? What did you hear about money when you were a child? What did you hear about? Did you hear certain things like money doesn't grow on trees, or it's hard to come by, or?
No, my mom and dad never really talked about money. The only thing my mom ever said about money was that how she balanced her checkbook was that she always put less when she, because that's when we did checkbooks, right? Mm-hmm. She would always put the amount less than what she actually had by like $10, $20. So that way if she ever went over, she would still be covered.
So that was kind of a lack and a limitation thing. But what have you said about money? What have you thought about money? I mean, as far as, have you said things like, I can't afford it, or
yeah,
money
I came from a place where, after a divorce, we're having much to having nothing, literally nothing. So yeah, I've definitely come from a place of want, but then I got education and I had a really good job. And so I don't feel that way anymore. I'm feeling a little more stressed now because I'm living on unemployment. I have money stashed away, but I hope money comes in.
Right. Well, I believe that 2020, guys, is the year of clarity. It's the year to get clear. It's the year for clear vision. It's the year just to reassess our situation and then go forward. But wealth and money, if you feel that uh, money is a money's a wonderful servant, it's a horrible master. Money's a medium of exchange. Uh, in Ecclesiastes, there's a verse that says, "Money answereth all things."
Yes,
Money, money is very important, guys. It's very important. Anybody that tells you that money is not important has never had any.
so can
Go
I
ahead.
interrupt for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I do have a slogan about money, and I just realized it. You've always heard, money doesn't make the world go round. Well, yes, it does. You have to have money, and it does buy happiness. The fact that, you buy your kids birthday presents, you give them a birthday party, you get the things that you need, such as, food, or you pay your mortgage. Money is necessary. We need it. And yes, it can buy happiness, although it can't buy happiness within.
Well, and there's a difference between joy and happiness. I can be joyful and recognize that you can be broke.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you're not wealthy. Now, when we acknowledge being brokenness with poverty, and we say I'm in poverty because I'm broke. No, being broke is a temporary situation, but being poor is a mental condition. I mean, Donald Trump, for instance, and I don't care what you think of the guy, but Donald Trump was now not 1 million, guys. He was 1 billion with a B, as in boy, $1 billion in debt personally, along with the other $4 billion that he was in debt corporately. Now, when you think about that, $1 billion, and he was in the car, in the rented limo, because they had to keep up appearances. He was in the rented limo with his daughter, Ivanka, and he looked over at her and he says, "Ivanka, do you see that homeless man right over there? If he's got a quarter in his pocket, he's a billionaire. Even at zero, he's a billionaire compared to your father right now." So how did Donald Trump become one of the wealthiest men in the world from that day? Because if he knew that if he had it once, he could do it again. Because of who he was not a thousandaire. He was not a millionaire. He was a billionaire. The little exercise that we went through before. How much money are we worth per day to the marketplace? There are people that are earning $3 million a day, guys. A day, $1 billion a year is what they earn. That's baffling. And we go through our whole life hanging on to this idea that money is hard to get. And people won't be able to afford my product. Tony Robbins charges $10,000 to sit for 8 hours a day for 5 days with him.
Right?
And it's not with him. And it's not even sitting with him anymore. You're not even in the same room with the guy anymore. It's watching him on a computer screen. Because he knows what he's worth. Tap into who you're worth for the money. Relationship with yourself, relationships with your God, with others, with the with the limiting beliefs that you have. Relationship with your thoughts, with your mind, with your goals, and with who you are, and then your health. I mean, if you don't take care of the temple, if you don't take care of who you are, if you don't exercise, if you really Honest, I did it for 30 years. I was not in a good relationship with my health. So, I mean, you have a beautiful work that you can do, Cindy. You can give people a better relationship with money, better relationship with their health, better,
Yeah.
because, people want to marry a supermodel,
Yeah.
but who do they have to become to attract the supermodel?
You have to be that supermodel, at least believe that they are.
Well, yeah. So you have to, they're not going to go out with somebody that's broke. They're not going to go out with somebody if you can't pay the bill for the dinner. You're not going to get very far. So that you can help them in all these areas, but this is, you have to identify where you are in each area. Gotta just be brutally honest, and then you can work on where you need to go. So, and I this is a flame effect that I have, because I want you to burn these into your go-to. You must address where it is you want to go, and what do you want to do, and have, be, and do. What do you really want to have? What would you do if your yearly income is your monthly income? Where would you go? What would you do?
I've never thought about it.
If you don't think about it,
I have.
you'll never get it. You gotta expand. You gotta expand your mind. You gotta expand your thinking, because I'll just say this. We've all come from the world of the institution called being an employee.
Yeah, right?
Okay, do we want to go back to that life?
No.
Now, we have to treat ourselves like an employee, but we don't. But we have to be an entrepreneur, and an entrepreneur rhymes with a word, and it's called manure. And it rhymes with manure for a reason. There's a lot of crap that goes along with being an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur is somebody that jumps off the cliff and builds the plane on the way down. But you have to know what you want to have, be, and do. You have to be specific. You can't just say, I want more money. Because if I give you $5, is it more money than you got? Absolutely, it's more money. But you're saying, John, it's not enough. Well, it's more money. That's what we always want. That's what we say. Oh, if I could just get 5% higher at that next job, I'd be, Tony Robbins shared a story. I think it was during UPW, actually. And he shared about a homeless guy that came up to him one night. And he said, hey, man, can I get a quarter? You got a quarter? And Tony Robbins was just getting his start, and he had some cash in his pocket. Somebody's told him to carry cash. So he had his last $300 in his pocket, and he got it in a money clip. But he had a quarter in his pocket as well. And the homeless guy is looking at him, and he's like, do you have a quarter, man? Can I get a quarter? And Tony Robbins is like, that's all you want is a quarter? Yeah, a quarter is going to change my life, man. It's going to change my life. I suppose. And so he reaches in his pocket, and he intentionally pulls out the money clip with the three $100 bills, and he has a quarter inside of it, and he pulls out the quarter, and the guy's looking at the $300, and he's looking at the quarter. He's looking at the $300, and he's looking at the quarter. Tony Robbins puts the $300 back in his pocket, hands him the quarter. And as he hands him the quarter, he says, life will give you what you ask for it. And the guy's looking at him, you're weird, man. You're weird. But if he would have said, can I have 100? Tony would have given him $100 that night. But he asked for a quarter. He asked for a quarter.
People would give $100 away.
Well, Tony's not everybody. and you guys aren't everybody. You guys are
Right.
going to give yourselves into your businesses and into your lives. And wouldn't it be so awesome? You're in your supermarket, you're in your store, you're in your market, and you're there. And maybe you have been here, but there's this lady in front of you, and she's got 3 little kids, and you know she's stressed out, and she's asking the checker, can I get a price check on this? Have you ever noticed anybody like that?
Mhm.
Maybe it's been you. Maybe you're sitting there and your bill, you got $80 and they're telling you it's $85.50. And wouldn't it be nice not only to pay the $5.50 difference? Because I have done this. I have paid the whole stinking bill for somebody. I have said, it's your lucky day. I got this. Don't want them to be a coaching client. Don't want anything from them. Don't want their email address. Don't want any thank yous. Don't want any accolades. Don't pats on the back. Just because it is more blessed to give than it is to receive, and that has never failed me yet. But if we can't help them, how do we feel, man? We're like this, man. I wish they'd come prepared, man. We kind of have this attitude, like, I'm in a hurry, man. I'm in a hurry, man. Would you just oh my gosh, got to get a price check. We have this attitude, like,
Yeah.
oh, man, I need to buy my crap. Get out of here. I'm tired of waiting. That's
Right.
kind of what we do. That's kind of what we do. But I was there getting. I've been in there at the store at 11 o'clock at night, and these people sometimes will come in the late at night. Well, now they won't because of COVID. But when Walmart, do you have any Walmarts over there?
No, we have Tesco and Lidl and Aldi.
Okay. But anyway, in the supermarket late at night, somebody's in there. They usually come in at odd hours when they don't have the money. And they're, just to be able to do that, though. Send somebody to college. Wouldn't that be an awesome deal? Somebody you don't even know. You just write a check. Yeah, just write the check. Like, it doesn't even faze you anymore. But you got to know what you want to have. I mean, if your yearly income became your monthly income, what would you do, Cindy?
Well, you know what? I have thought about something. I decided that when I make my first million, that I want to go to Tacoma Power and ask them what the top 10 out of balance accounts are and pay them off for those people.
Okay. Why don't you start with one? Why don't you start with one and maybe you can't pay the whole thing, but start now with one account other than your own. And you just say, what could I give? Set a goal. Maybe I can't pay their whole thing, but maybe I could send $25 a month to help this person out. Maybe I could, you start a goal, you start something, you start as if, because if we don't work as if we're already there, because you got to believe that you're already there. You must believe that you're already there. So you have to know what you want, know what you want to have, know what you want to be, know what you want to do. Because back to money, a lot of people have this idea that money corrupts people. You ever heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we believe it. All them rich bastards, they're just crooks. They're just crooks. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
You ever said it? You ever said it? All them rich bastards, they're just crooks. They're just dishonest. You know, how many have ever heard honest day's work for honest day's pay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so the guy who's paying you hasn't worked an honest day then.
No, they probably work harder than all of us.
The guy that, you know, there's times that the owner will get paid last to make sure his people are paid first. But yet we think they're crooks doing it dishonestly. But yet, if we ever, maybe we've had bosses and we've said they're crooks, they're doing it dishonestly. Doesn't that make you an accomplice to the fact that you're working with somebody that's dishonest and they're crook?
Mm-hmm.
So why do we choose to work for these people? Well, I get a little money at the end of the week. They get a little money. They pay me a little money. But money doesn't corrupt anybody. Money does not corrupt anyone, guys. It makes them more of what they already are. So a lot of us have these accolades, Cindy and Mark, where if I was rich, I'd do this. Well, are you doing any of it now? Are you doing it out of your lack now? Are you giving out of your situation currently? No. Then you wouldn't do it when you have money.
Well,
There are
I do.
people. Go ahead.
I do. I mean, I give up my time to volunteer for the rowing club. Now, my daughter is a member of it. I get benefits from it as well. I get to work out in that gym. I pay membership, but I give up my Sundays not just for my daughter. It's for the other kids, so they can launch safely. I'm qualified as a level 2 coxswain, so I can drive a safety boat, and I can do that, and I enjoy doing that. And I used to be part of the lifeboat, not anymore, but like I like to do things like that. And when I have money, when I was earning, I was donating to cancer research.
Right. Well, then this is and you just brought up a brilliant point, Mark. When we give, we receive.
Yeah.
You can't give without receiving, guys. It will come back to you. I mean, the law of sowing and reaping says that. I mean, what a person sows in the ground, they're going to get back. Now, too many times we're sowing a bunch of negative crap, and we keep getting it. So, but know what you want to have. I mean, in America, Cindy, are we limited to the house that we can have, or do they have a rule that says we have to live a certain place, or can we have any house we want?
We can have any house we want.
Okay, and then we can have any car we want, and we can have as many as we want, right?
Mhm.
And we can earn as much as we want, right?
Yeah.
And we can be whatever we want, right? As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral. And in some states, it's okay to be whatever you want anyway.
That applies. We can be.
And I think that,
if we
and
want.
I think that would be the same for you, Mark, over in Ireland. You
Yeah.
can have any car, any house, any amount of money you want. Now, Mark and I did this lesson last week, but so let's go back over them, Cindy. If I can earn as much as I want, how much money are you earning, Cindy?
If I could earn as much as I want, you know,
How much are you earning now?
0.
Because that is the amount I want to earn.
Say that again.
Because
My brain went, what?
say this with me.
Okay.
I am earning 0
I am earning 0
because that is exactly what I want to earn.
because that is exactly not what I want to earn.
No, say it again. I am
That's
earning
exactly
0.
what I want to earn. Okay.
That's exactly what I want to earn. 'Cause
Okay.
if there was a law that you had to earn a certain amount of money or you're going to go to prison, we'd probably earn that amount of money. We'd figure it out.
We would.
We figure it out. But there is no law that says you can't be broke either. You can't be poor. There's no law that you can't be successful. So they haven't made it a law. So therefore, we remain where we are because of what we want. We are all in life in the areas of what we have. So what kind of house do you have then? Currently, if it's the one you can have anything you want, and you can have the house you want. So the house you're living in is the house you want, right?
Yes.
Whether it is you're not, you might say, no, I'd like to have a bigger, I'd like to have a better bath. Where would you go? How many vacations a year would you take? How many? As many as you want. So how many vacations have you taken this year, Cindy?
0.
And I've taken 0 because I only want to take 0.
0.
And you see, when you have to get so freaking upset with your life that says, man, I don't like this anymore. I don't like this exercise, John. This exercise is bringing it too close to home. This is putting a microscope on me. This is like bringing the laser out, and it's making me really realize why I am where I am and what I'm doing is because I want to be here. We are all where we want to be, what we want to do, and what do we want to have, whether we'll admit it or not. And that's
Interesting thinking.
What's that?
That's really interesting thinking.
It's the truth.
I think you're right, because if we were to go to jail because we didn't make a choice beyond 0, we would have to make a choice.
You would have
We're not
to.
making any. We're not. I haven't made any choices. Well, I made a choice to start my own business. The choice to get my own clients. I don't know. I think I've been trying to get clients. No, I've gotten clients, but I've let them be free because I'm saying that they're my like my prototype. I'm getting used to explaining my services and giving my services.
Have you already got 3 of them? Have you got 3 of them? Have you got 2 of them? Have you got 2 of them?
I think so.
Have you got 2 of them that said they give you a testimonial?
Yes.
Okay, get the 2 to give you a video testimonial, put it on your website, and be done with that shit.
Okay.
You know, now you can discount, but you got to know what you're worth. And if you're worth $4 million a day, you better at least be making $100 a day.
Right.
You better be at least bringing something in, you know. I mean, you gotta know what you want. And if you want something different, you're going to have to do something differently. So give yourself so know what you want to do, what you want to have, what you want to be. And then you got to give yourself a time frame and stick with it. And this is where people, Cindy, if one of your relationship people come to you and they say, he asked me, Cindy, and you've done such a wonderful job. You've been such a wonderful coach. Cindy, would you be my maid of honor? You'd say, well, sure, I'd be happy to. You know the guy and you feel like they make a good couple and you're actually instrumental in bringing them together. And then you say, yes, sure. Now, all the congratulations are out of the way. What would your next question to be to them? What do you think? They want you to be the maid of honor. You got to know your schedule. So what would you ask them? When is it?
I don't know.
When is it? When is the date? They're like, I have no clue. We really haven't set it a date. We're kind of like, we're going to wait to see how it goes. What's their commitment level?
Very low.
Okay. So if you don't set a date by, I need to earn this amount of money by this point, I will have this house by this point, I will have this by this point. It's a do or die date too. It's a definite date. It's not this, well, if the stars align, if the moon comes out, if the moon is full, if the kids don't need shoes, if as long as the, those are wishy-washy. It's got to be a definite date. You got to say, man, this is going to happen. It must happen. It will happen by this date. And it can't be no 5-year plan, guys. It can't be no, well, I hope to be making this within 5 years, because if there's not really stepping stones to get there, you're just going to sit back. Well, I got another 5 years anyway. What's on TV tonight? Click through. So give yourself a time frame, stick with it. Again, you got to be specific. You can't just merely say, I want more money. You must be specific to the amount. So how much money is it? How do I figure that out, John? It's pretty simple. How much are your monthly expenses? How far above those monthly expenses that you want to earn? And if you want to earn $12,000 a month, what do you get paid per client? Then you got to start thinking, well, if I'm going to do that and all of my time and all that, because right now in my own life, even though I get paid what I get paid per hour and paid for this thing, I've got to do multiple sources of income, or I got to do more with less time. Like I got to bring multiple people into a seminar versus doing one seminar for this person and one seminar for this person and 1 hour for this person and 1 hour for this person. Bring 20 at a time into the same one.
Exactly, because it's the 80-20 rule.
Bring 20 into the same presentation and charge them your fee. And if they need any extended coaching or anything like that outside of that, then you're making more money in the same amount of time, and you're helping more people at the same time. That makes sense, guys?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Again, be specific. You can't just merely say, I want more money. You got to know that I want to earn $12,000 this month. Well, I get paid $300 an hour, and that's going to be this. Or I get paid $150 an hour, or I get paid. So you got to figure out multiple streams of income. I'm selling this course. I've got this service. You got to determine a service that you're going to give in exchange for the amount you will provide. They're going to be coaching sessions. They're going to be writing a book. They're going to be writing a course. Mark and I had a conversation about his platform, about different levels of service that he could offer that maybe even his company doesn't offer, but Mark knows what he wants to earn, and he's already paying a certain amount for this. And so he could have a good, better, best. You Cindy, could be a relationship coach, a dating coach. You could have different services, courses that you could write on what you can do, different things. So you could write. So what services are you going to provide to get what you want? And then you have to write out a life statement, and you have to come up with a plan of how you're going to put these things into action, but write out a life statement of how you feel now that you're in possession of this, and repeat it twice daily. So what's that look like? So my life statement is, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $300,000 this year. That's, by the way, that's 30,000, a little bit, that's about $30,000 a month in US dollars. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $30,000 this year, $30,000 a month this year. I am, and I'm providing coaching, I'm providing life coaching, I'm providing business coaching, sales training, lead generation services. I have this course, that course, the other course, and this is the plan. I'm going to put it into action. I'm going to be doing Zoom calls, physical presentations. You get the point, but then you read that twice daily, and that's going to give you the kick in the assets so everything doesn't become a liability. It's going to start renewing your mind, because you're going to learn here in a little bit that your mind is an automatic thing. And but that, burn these things into your mind. Just burn them in there, man. This is something that you must do. You have to do this, or else you're just going to be swatting at flies. You're going to be batting at the wind. You're never going to have really any chief aim. So what you do habitually will determine your life permanently, guys. When you got up this morning, what was your route plan? Probably like me, you had a constitutional. You sat on the throne. You did your. You got in the shower. You got ready for the day. You pulled your pants on right leg first, left leg second. If it was any other way, you'd probably fall over. You did the same routine. It was the same thing. If you had to go to the office, you probably drove the same way. If your office is in the next room, you probably walked the same way into the office. You sat down, you got your cup of coffee, you did whatever you did it the same way. Why do people go to work? Why do they work where they work? Why do we do what we do? We think of habits. When we think of habits, we tend to think of only bad habits. But bad habits are not You do not have to think about most things. But habit was God's way of making good automatic in our life. So habits are not always bad habits. We got a lot of good habits. One of them is breathing. Aren't you so glad you're an habitual breather? I mean, what if breathing came like getting clients? Now think about it. What if getting clients were to come like breathing, though?
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. The clients are just going to come if we do the actions, if we take the steps, if we predict our life, and we just say, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm heading, and we have that intention, we will start getting the direction, because you have to have an intention to get direction from a GPS. The GPS, when I just look at it, say this is the GPS unit, it is when I have the phone, so I just look at it. Wonder what Cindy had to say today. Wonder what she had to say. Wonder if she responded to that text. Guess we'll never know. Because I didn't act. I can sit there and we're going to believe in the law of attraction. I watched that Secret movie. Didn't do a thing for me. Them liars. Them bastards. Tony Robbins. Who does he think he is? That Jonathan Ribble's just a charlatan. I'll tell you what he told me I could predict my life like I predict the weather. And well, I started looking at that phone and it didn't turn on when I was looking at it. I was looking at that gal all day. And I was looking at her intently. She didn't come over and talk to me. I was putting out all the signals. You're putting out all the signals. You might want to take a shower first. But that would require action. That would require, but I'm putting all the signals. Really? So why didn't you go over and knock on her door? Why didn't you go over and say hi? I mean, I thought she was just going to come to me based on the law of attraction thing. I didn't think I had to do anything to get her. I didn't think that. Well, that's just a bunch of hogwash. We don't think that way. I mean, you start doing crazy actions, man. If you are too nervous or you get somebody else to ask for you. Cindy, I was thinking about that gal over there in the corner. I don't know if I got the confidence. Is there a way that you might be able to? Yeah, I really. And Cindy's like, fine. So she goes over. John over there. You see him? Yeah, he's too shy, but he's kind of cute, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he works out every day. I do know that. You'd be willing to talk to him if I brought him over here? Yeah. Cindy comes back over to me. John, she's willing to talk to you. Oh, shit.
Now what do I say? But you end up getting the courage because now there's been an introduction made. So you find some way to bridge that gap. You find some way. Because I can sit there and stare at somebody all day. It doesn't mean they're going to come over and talk to me. You got to find a way to get to them. You got to find a way. So, and you can do this automatically, guys. You can build up a strength within you that you just start. It's a habit. And here's the common denominator of success. It's not in the notes, but you do want to write this down. The common denominator of success. Are you ready? Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
The common denominator of success is this: doing what failures don't like to do. Just do the opposite. Just do it anyway. Doing what failures don't like to do.
So the common denominator is doing.
Yeah, doing what failures don't like to do. Do you think I like calling people?
College people?
Calling people, like calling them on the phone.
Oh, calling.
You think I like to? I hate it. I hate it with a passion. Trying to set up an appointment is what I'm talking about. Trying to get a client. I love having clients. I hate getting them. See what I mean?
Uh,
Failures hate getting them and don't. Successes hate getting them and do. I just abhor. That's why Mark's program kind of intrigues me, because I abhor social media. I am absolutely, I'm pissed at Facebook, by the way, because yesterday I send out motivational messages. That's part of my regimen. It's what I enjoy. It brings joy to my soul to do it. And I'm not getting anything return of it. People aren't paying me. Some people don't even comment. I've been criticized for it. I've been asked not to send those things because it just interrupts their day. I'm like, you're interrupted by motivation? Okay. Well, I will gladly take you off my list then. I have no desire to be around a person that it just interrupts their day to be motivated. But Facebook.
Well, you got positive feedback from me today.
Yep, I did. But I was blocked yesterday, the day before, from sending out messages. Well, then if somebody sends me a message that I need to respond to, I can't respond to it. So I'm like, okay, so Mark's thing intrigued me. So if Mark would just explain it that way to people and do it in that specific way, he's got my business. If it works, if it doesn't work, we're going to have a talk. But if it works, he's got my business.
It works, but don't spam 8,000 messages in the tool. You'll ruin it for everyone.
Well,
that's in 8,000.
My messages aren't really spam because I don't even have a link.
No, I know what you mean. But if you were trying to send 8,000 messages, it would probably take 48 hours.
You know, if I sent out 8,000 messages, it would take me 48 days.
Yeah.
So 48 hours is nothing to me. So, but when we think of habits, we tend to think of only bad habits, but we can get in the habit of doing the regimen, the discipline. When I do my workouts in the morning and I'm yelling at the camera, I'm actually yelling at myself, but I speak to the spirit in the mind. And I tell people, though, that show up and they just show up on a regular basis. I have a few of them that do. And I say, I don't care if you work out when you show up. Just put yourself in the atmosphere of being there. Just get into a daily regimen that this is my time to do this. This is my time to do this. You're building a habit. And once you build the habit, then you'll be like, how did I do this? How did I go 30 years without working out? Because for 30 years, I thought my workout was breathing. I would breathe on a regular basis, and that was my exercise. I did sit-ups half in the morning when I got up and half when I laid back down at night. But in pushing up, and I usually did push away from the table, when I was done. I did the 12-ounce curls, and drank a bottle of Pepsi or beer or whatever. And I was a very good eater. I mean, but I had the bad habits. I thought like a fat man. I thought like a overweight person. I didn't think so I did the things that failures do, which was nothing. Failures do nothing because they don't think about anything. So in order for you to change your habits, you have to change your thought patterns. You have to say, man, if I knew, Mark, that I got paid every time I dialed the phone, $100. Every time you dial the phone, You know, some people say, I bought a ticket and I didn't win the lottery. What if you bought every ticket and win the lottery?
Mm-hmm.
You know, $100, I got, every time you dial a phone, we'd be dialing the phone left and right.
Yeah.
You know, so what does I call them set-ins for me, but I like the word paradigm. And this is actually what a paradigm means. This is straight from, this is the New Webster's Handy Desk Reference Library. That's where that came from, by the way. A paradigm is a standard, perspective, or set of ideas. A paradigm is a way of looking at something. And the word paradigm comes up a lot in the academic, scientific, and business worlds. When you change a paradigm, you're changing how you think about something. And for so long, and I hear you, Mark, about lack and limitation and limited thinking and all that. But there's a point where we have to put old things away. When I was a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child, but when I became a man, I put those past things behind me.
Oh.
And so we have to be disciplined to the fact that we're going to change our thinking and our processes. So when you change the paradigms, you're changing how you think it's something. Now, Mark has seen this before, but when I asked you what your refrigerator looked like earlier, Cindy, and you told me what a refrigerator looked like in your car, and you were like, where are you going with this? What does this have anything to do with it? It's because we think in pictures. And then I asked you what your mind looked like earlier. And this is really this is from a guy named Dr. Thurman Fleet back in 1934, came up with this. He was a renowned psychologist that helped people in holistic thinking and holistic healing. And people were struggling with renewing their mind. You know, every theologian, every leader, every scientist, everything like that has said they've disagreed on numerous points. But on this one thing, they are in complete and unanimous agreement that we become what we think about.
Yes, it's true.
And your subconscious mind, he came up with this stick person. And it's probably the best thing. And when I really grasped what it was, it's changed my life. The subconscious mind, when you were born, your subconscious mind, that would represent down at the bottom of that area, that would represent a pool. It would be like this bottle of water here, guys. Now this is a strawberry flavored water. I like flavored water, but it's 100% pure H2O. Now, you know, if it was just normal water, you'd probably drink it, right? You may not like strawberry. I think it adds a little bit of refreshing to it, but you'd probably drink this if you were thirsty, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's clear. It's clear. And now, what if I add a little mud to it? It's H2O. Has it changed?
Oh, yeah.
Has it stopped being water?
No, it hasn't stopped being water, but it's got water and extra stuff in it.
It's
Okay.
no.
So, subconscious mind, remember when you were, how many have ever seen a newborn baby?
Yep.
How many have ever been at the hospital when there's a newborn baby?
Yep.
And maybe it's not yours, but you're at the hospital with a newborn baby and you're looking in the glass and there's about 9 of you standing around looking at the glass, looking inside the glass, and there's this little baby with a cute little thing, and you're like, oh, isn't he darling? Oh, isn't she just wonderful? Oh, isn't she brilliant? Just lovely, absolutely charmer. You know why we're like that? You know why everybody is surrounding a baby, why we're all, ooh, and you know exactly what I do. I think they're a wrinkled up mess, to be perfectly honest. I mean, there's really no cuteness to them. I mean, they all look about the same. The reason why we're that way, though, is it's the closest thing to God we can ever get to. It's pure. They haven't been abused. They haven't been molested. They haven't been divorced. They haven't suffered financial difficulty. It's the purest thing that we can hold, that we can be around. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's clean water. It's clean water. It's refreshing. And it's like, oh, and we have so many hopes and dreams, and they're at the hospital for 3-4 days, right? The baby with the parents, and the parents don't want to be embarrassed, so the parents are like, oh, what should we name it? Oh, isn't it cute? Oh, isn't it lovely? Oh, you're so wonderful, dear. Oh, I love you. I think the world of you. Oh, we're going to just do so well with this kid. And 4 days later, the doctor says, you're free to go. And the kid, now the makeshift car seat that they gave him at the hospital to get the kid home safely, kid starts hearing, because the kid can't reason. We can't reason at the time, but the kid starts hearing, I cannot believe you didn't pay that bill while I was having that baby. I'm sorry, dear. I'm sorry I got caught up at work. Piss poor on that. And they start howling a fight. Think this happens? And now all the kids in the back, and their mind is starting to be filled with anxiety and worry and doubt. Just dump it in. It's pure water. But now here comes the shit. Here, then it gets, now it learns to walk. And it's crawling, pulling itself, and it learns to walk. It goes from crawling to walking. And then it goes from ooh, gaga, mama, dada, manya, munya. And now it's talking. And you know what happens when it says, you know what one word parents hate to hear? And they teach their kid?
No.
No. Come over here. No. So, and then we tell the truth one day and we get beat hard, or we get grounded, or we get disciplined for telling the truth. Well, shit, I ain't ever telling them the truth again, because the last time I told the truth, hell had no fury like Dad. Mom, did you do that again, John? No, it wasn't me. So we learn how to lie by the time we're 4 or 5. We're starting to dump more than mud. Now it's poison. Now it's negativity and weeds and everything. So we have all these arrows of thought that are coming at us from every direction. Our sight, our smell, our taste, our hearing, everything. All these thoughts are bombarding. And then guess what happens? It goes down. Our subconscious mind cannot reason. It's your conscious mind that's the reasoning faculty. It's what you think with, what you think in pictures. When I asked you to tell me what your car or your refrigerator looks like, guys, you told me, and it's because of your conscious mind. You were able to pull up a picture in your conscious mind. You were able to reason. But when we were kids, we couldn't ever reason. So we were just dumping shit into the mind of the kids. That's how we were programmed. That's how we learned. Well, I balance the checkbook with about another $10, $20 because if I don't, I'll go over. So there's lack and limitation. And then, you know, we get into high school, we want to join football, or for you guys rugby, and then we got to buy all the equipment, or it's rowing for you guys up in Ireland. How much is this going to cost? So we look at our kids and we can't afford that, dear. And where's the kid's confidence level going, Dad or Mom? Straight in the toilet. And that's what we learn through our life. And then there's these other thoughts. When we have a thought, and what you see and hear with, really the two senses that really drive things home is what we see and what we hear. And then the one thought becomes, there's a rooted thought. The thoughts get rooted down into our subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is your autopilot. That pure pool, and that's why it's so important to continue to renew your mind, renew it. Now we have a picture of the mind. We know our subconscious mind is our autopilot. It does things automatically. It cannot reject a thought. You tell it what to do over and over and over again. If you say money corrupts people, 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 and maybe you didn't do it all in one sequence, but over your life, that's what you've really held on to. That's what you really believed. And now your subconscious mind is like, Mark, money corrupts people. What are you doing having it? Now, until we start saying, nope, nope, we're going to get rid of that thought, we're going to get rid of that thought, and we start renewing our mind, we start pouring, now this water is dirty, we wouldn't drink it, but what if we took it over to the tap and we put it under the tap and we turn the faucet on and we let it fill and we let it fill and we let it fill. There was a king a long time ago and he said, my cup overflows. My cup overflows. And he was talking about his mind. I have to overflow my cup. I have to overflow it. I have to overflow it to stay positive, to stay on point, because bad happens automatically. Good takes a little longer. So I got to keep flowing this in. I got to keep thinking. I got to keep changing, because your mind is, you just let your mind go. But now that we've filled this again and again and again, and we've cleaned it all out, it's back to 100% pure water, same bottle, same glass, same vessel. Would you drink it? Absolutely. Even though there was mud and poison and dirt, but we've tested the water and now we know it's 100% pure again. We drink it out of the same vessel that all that poison and the crap was. Same subconscious mind. If you continue to renew your mind and pour things into your mind, that's why I don't care what anybody thinks of me anymore. Because what hasn't already been done? What haven't you been through? Cindy, what haven't you been through? You've been through a divorce. You've been left with nothing. You've been through up and down childhood. You've been through financial difficulty. You've been through this. You've disciplined yourself to get to this point. What could they do to you now if you're on front of a camera? I mean, what could they really do? Absolutely, that hasn't been done already. Who gives a shit? I read a sign the other day, and the sign was simple. It said, the sign said, how to have a bikini body. Put a bikini on and don't care what anybody else thinks.
There you go.
So this is something actually I just read this today. Thought I'd throw it in here. Let me see if I can move that over a little bit. Never expect the thing you don't want. How many times have we know what we don't want? And we expect what we don't want. So never expect what you don't want. And never desire a thing you do not expect. It's pointless. When you expect something you do not want, you attract the undesirable. And when you desire a thing that is not expected, you simply dissipate valuable mental force. On the other hand, when you constantly expect that which you persistently desire, your ability to attract becomes irresistible. Desire connects you with the thing desired, and expectation draws it into your life. This is the law. Should you be oppressed by poverty, hardship, limitation, or lack of any kind, begin now to operate this law of mind and gradually command more and more of the good in the form of better things and improved conditions. That comes from Working with the Law by Raymond Holliwell, another great book. So form a clear and well-defined mental picture of what you want. Do not specify its particular form or how it shall come, but simply desire firmly and gently the greatest amount of any good in that direction. Avoid a tense state of mind or any condition or of strain or anxiety. It is better to do your mind picturing in odd moments when in quiet and restful conditions. Let the idea or plan of good unfold into a vivid mental picture, much the same as though it were on a moving picture upon a screen. Don't force the thought, as pressure causes congestion and confusion. The calmer and more peaceful you are, the better the results. The main thing is to hold the thought, then proceed to nourish your desire or want with a calm, confident conviction that what you seek will come. As you persist in this state of mind, the good desired will tend to gravitate towards you. So this guys, is where most of us find ourselves at. This is the conforming cycle of life, why we do the things we do, and why we have a hard time predicting our future, because we sit there and we focus on the results that we currently have. Your checkbook lies to you. It does not tell you the truth. It tells you a fact of where you are. It does not tell you who you are. But here, if we sit there and focus on money that's going out, I'm not earning anything, the results that we're getting, the lack of clients, what kind of idea and the thoughts are we going to have? Lack of clients, no money. Oh, I'm having a hard time with this. And then those are going to lead into the other areas of our life. And let me just move this, our feelings, and our feelings go into our actions. And if you got feelings like, I don't know how this is going to work. Oh, what if it doesn't work? What kind of actions are you going to have? They're fueled with those kind of feelings. I make a lot of phone calls, so I tell people it's like this. My actions are going to sound something like this. Yeah. You don't want what I have, do you? Because I sure don't want to sell it to you. And that's kind of where we kind of can come off as a limp biscuit if we're focused on where we are. And where we are, if we don't really hold to the idea, it'll show up in our life, and it'll show up with our customers, and they'll start realizing it. If you think it's too expensive, Cindy, so will your customers. If you think it's too expensive, Mark, so will your customers. Because our customers are not us. Thank the Lord they're not us.
That's true. So true.
Can you repeat what you said first before you started this graph? You said something about our current results equaling what? If we look at them as our current results, do you remember what that was?
Yeah, if you look at the current results as shitty, lack of money, lack of clients, don't know where to get clients, I don't know, and you're focused on where you are versus who you are. Where you are in life is not who you are, guys. It's where you were. But it's not, and it's maybe who you were. Because there is a law, and it simply says the law of sowing and reaping. What a man sows, that also shall he reap. But we don't reap what we sow. We reap more than what we sow. We don't reap what we sow. We reap more than what we sow. So if I want a big crop, what do you think I have to do now? I have to sow a big crop, but I have to sow one seed to get a crop of 10 stalks of corn to one seed, right? The seed multiplies, doesn't it?
Yes.
So that's with everything. Now that's with negativity too, though. See, if I'm sowing these, if I look at the results, oh shit. And this is, I'm going to encourage you, Mark, and you're an analyzer and you're a tech guy and all that, but your dilemma, and maybe yours too, Cindy, is going to be looking at that checkbook balance every day. And a lot of times we start our day looking at our checkbook balance and what we have to do today. No. Get to, it's like, I got rid of the scale. Because when I started my workout routines over a month and a half ago, that first week I decided to get on the scale, and I had lost 10 pounds. And man, I was excited, man. I was excited. Yes, I'm going to go back. And I went back and I just worked even harder. And 2 days later, I got back on the scale and I had gained 4 pounds. And I said, and you know what, guys, since I started and I know that I'm getting stronger, I can feel it in my arms. I can feel it in my legs. I can feel it in my back. I can feel it on the inside. I have more energy now. I have more vitality now, but I'm still the same weight I was 6 weeks ago. And people say, well, why is that, John? Because of something called muscle memory. Muscle memory. And our bodies, I don't want to get off that beaten horse, but I as far as the I was looking at a fact, not the truth. The truth is rarely in the appearance of things. And in this book, Think and Grow Rich again, yes, it came up again. In this book, Think and Grow Rich, it says, when money begins to come into your life, it's going to come so fast and so furious, you're going to ask yourself where the hell it's been all these lean years. Because when you create a money consciousness and you're comfortable around money and you're comfortable around this, but when you focus on when your results are shitty, your thoughts are going to be shitty. If your thoughts are shitty, feelings are going to be shitty. And your actions are probably going to be shitty actions too. And then guess what it's going to give you? More of the same.
Yeah.
Results. Okay. So that's the conforming cycle of life. So how do we really predict our life like they predict the weather? How can we get a direction from the GPS to say, turn right in 1.5 miles? By switching over to this. This is the transforming cycle of life. Now where we're starting, we're not starting with the results. We're starting with that idea that's so exhilarating that it excites us and that it scares us at the same time, one that's so in tune with our mental and spiritual core that we will willingly dedicate all of our waking hours to its attainment, one that we can say at the end of our life, I am so happy and grateful now that for this idea that used my life, so that we can know that when we lay our head down for the final time, we have a legacy that we're leaving behind. I see Mark with his own rowing team. Wouldn't that be awesome? You could say I own a rowing team. Or I have a scholarship program that helps kids go into rowing and it helps kids get into this. Or Cindy has a organization that helps the abused woman that it comes out of a problematic marriage, or how to reset her life, and maybe she doesn't even have a place to go, and maybe Cindy has a home for battered women, or for just people that are going through, these are things you got to think about. You got to fantasize, man. Wouldn't it be awesome to have that? And we're just the fact that I got to live on my own terms, and I want to be this because it just fills my soul with joy. So the idea, now when I come from this idea, no matter what's in the bank account, no matter what the scale says, no matter what the facts of life tell me, I know the facts are always going to change. It came to pass, Mark. It came to pass, Cindy. Sometimes it'll pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass. It did not come to stay. COVID-19 is the tide going out. Mark, you live somewhere off the coast of Ireland. So if you look out over the ocean, if you see the ocean going back and back and back and back, where you can, where the lighthouse sat, you can see the dirt around the island where the lighthouse sat out on the what are you expecting to happen pretty soon?
Tide returns.
And how does it return if it goes back and back and back and back? I mean, if it goes back for 4 miles.
It returns pretty quickly.
And how high does it return?
It depends on the tide, but it can get really high.
A tsunami's coming back.
Yeah.
A tsunami. COVID-19 is the tide going out, guys. This is the tide going out. And you know what? It's going to come back in. And when it comes back in, there is going to be a shit ton of retail therapy. People are going to want to have to spend, date again, go out to restaurants again, go here, go there, do this, do that. They're going to be on Facebook. They're going to be posting left and right. I have a solution for that now. I need to be prepared. I need to get prepared. But now I've got this idea that, man, I'm going to automate so many people's lives. I'm going to be their best friend. Now, what kind of feelings do we have going in from this idea? You have the feelings of exaltation. You have the feelings of, man, I can do this. I will do this. I must do this. What kind of actions are you going to have when you have those feelings and say, man, I am excited about life and I'm excited about the difference that I'm making. And this is the passion that I want. And it's a white hot burning obsession on the inside of me. I must have this. I can have this. I will have this. What kind of actions are you going to have? What kind of actions?
Direct actions. Loads of stuff that is flying through my head right now. There's things I can do to help people, things I can do to help myself.
Your video
kids.
just went away, by the way, Mark. That's
sorry.
okay.
Yes, I tapped that. Sorry. Loads of things. Mind is brimming. There's things I'd like to do. I'd like to actually create I've actually written this down. I actually want to create a college based on personal development in my town.
Okay. So
that's a big goal. There's a place called Bantry House, which is 90 million in debt. It used to belong to a lord who got his house because he ratted out the rebellious people or whatever. But it's a beautiful house, and I would love to turn that into a college of personal development, like entrepreneurial college.
Well,
that's one thing that goes in my head.
Then set a date by when, and fuel the, start. But when you have that idea and you have those feelings that go along with that idea, and then you have the actions behind that idea or behind those feelings, and then the results, what kind of results are you going to get with those kind of actions? You're going to have better results. Now, keep in mind, there's a law. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. I mean, we have sown a lot of bad stuff in our life. Sown a lot of negativity, have not been elevated, not elevated our state, and kind of, well, if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It kind of, like jump starting a mule some days. It's like, but if we have that idea now, I can do this, I will do this, I must do this. Now the feelings are going to be, I can do this, I will do this. I'm feeling great. I'm got more energy now at 49 than I did when I was 23. I'm inspiring people all over the world. I'm making a difference. And now when I pick up the phone, or now when I do a video, now when I teach, now when I do those things, comes from a deeper level, and people can sense that I really believe in what I'm doing and what I say. And when I have those kinds of actions, the results speak for themselves, guys. They speak for themselves. And what really changed my life, guys, really changed my life, is I got a committed coach on a regular basis. I pay a coach, and I pay a coach more than what I've asked you guys on a weekly basis, because I know by doing that. And I got all these books behind me, and I got books around me. They surround me. They're not just for show. I have the books that I want to read and what I want to become like. I don't have any novels over there. I don't have any romance novels. I don't have any stories about, I have self-help books over there. I have spiritual books, and I have psychological books and financial books, but the books that I want to become, there's only three differences that we will find between each other here right now. In 5 years, the differences are the books we have read, the seminars, workshops, coaches, churches that we've been a part of, and the people we associate with. That's the only differences. I would rather hang out with nobody to become a somebody than to hang out with everybody and become a nobody. I've gotten to the point in my life that I don't need people because I lead people. And I don't care what they think because I know most of them don't anyway. It's mental activity. The criticism typically comes out of a place where it's not thought, it's just where they've been and all that. So, but yeah, what really changed my life is when I invested in a coach, and I'm here for you guys if you should ever need it. So what do we gain out of this, guys? Has it been helpful?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, can you see how if you follow these guidelines, you can start having some intention, and you can predict your life like they predict the weather?
Can I share something quickly with you?
Absolutely.
While you were talking, and I know we were talking about pricing my software, I literally did out a price plan that I firmly believe it's worth. I did a 97, a 197, 297, 497, 697, and a 1997 deal, and I've got everything I'm going to do with it, like the software. You get 97, you get the software and training. For 197, you get a group call a month. For 297, you get a group call and a Zoom one-on-one Zoom call. For 497, you get a group call and a weekly Zoom call. For 697, you get a group call, a weekly Zoom call, and 1 hour's design thinking training. And for 1997, it's a done for you deal. We'll do the Facebook stuff for you, give you a business analysis call, and also some design coaching.
Fabulous. That's the services that you need to take some time and Cindy, what your prices are going to be, what all you're going to be. I don't believe you're just a dating coach.
I know I'm more than a dating coach too.
So you got to really, I mean, and I'll tell you, the comeback challenge, Cindy, is going to be your greatest friend. I tell you, just go in there and just start looking for the low-hanging fruit.
What do you mean?
What's that?
What do you mean by low-hanging fruit?
Okay. Number one, if you start posting videos to your timeline and you start teaching relationship and psychology of relationship and sociology and everything about what you want, how to save your marriage, how to get rid of your marriage, whatever you want to teach on. But I think for you would have loved probably to have a fulfilling marriage and fulfilling life and all that. You know, so if you can save the kids from having to go through the hell of a divorce and all that, and if there's some healing you can bring, there's this gal, her name is Stacy. She was part of the Build Your Brand Challenge. I'll see if I can find out her name again. I think you should YouTube her. She's a relationship coach, and she gets paid $15,000 a year by each client. Wow. Each client, they pay her $15,000 a year, and she saves marriages, and she has a 99% success rate with her company.
Wow. I need to look up her.
There's a group as well. I'll send it to you, Cindy, if you connect with me. There's a group that does raw and unblinded. Like they'll have 3 relationship coaches and say 2 couples, and each of the couples take a go of talking to each other, and then they do feedback and give each of the couples feedback on what they can do better and how each person can pick up on the other thing and talk about what they saw from their perspective. It's highly popular. I don't see why you can't do something like that yourself, or a derivative of that. And like these guys are, one of the girls' name, I can't think of her last name. It's Dimple is her first name, and she's a Tony Robbins Platinum partner. So
then
there's, yeah.
the other thing I would suggest, Cindy, is that you get involved in singles groups. I think you're even.
I am already.
All right, but there's when I say low hanging fruit, just follow the threads. Somebody posts something, yep. But then not only follow them, but then here's how I do it. Here's how I do it. Would you like to know how? Would you like to know how I get clients? This is exactly how I get clients, guys. I post a video. I post an engaging video. Somebody makes a comment. Now, this is why I'm so intrigued about Mark's thing. If it'll work for the way I do it, because I post a video out, and then Cindy watches the video. It just comes up in her timeline, and she says, "Oh, that resonates with me. That resonates with me." And so I say, Cindy puts a comment out there, or Cindy likes it. So when anybody that likes my stuff, that's probably why Facebook doesn't like me. And I need to space it out, though. I need to space it out, because if they like my stuff, I send them a friend request. I need to space more of that out so it's not so obvious, because I'm like a kid in a candy store, man. If anybody likes or has the little heart that says they love it, or the big smiley face that say they're in love with it, I will say that's a person I want in my network, because they've seen my stuff and I want them to make sure they see my stuff again. So I'll add them as a friend. But if they make a comment, this is all I say now. Now I've had to learn this, because when I first got into social media, I was like, I'm a coach. I can help you. I can change your life. Don't you want it, Denver? Because I'm from the old school. Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Go in there, pitch your product. ABC, always be closing. That's where I was at. So I had to unlearn everything I learned. So when you're typing up something, all you got to do is say, because the reason I like the Comeback Challenge is there's 305,000 people in there. So one of the largest groups that's on the net right now. And they're all wanting what you have, Cindy. They're all wanting what Mark has. They're all wanting what I have. They all want coaching. They all want training. They all want to know how to do something, or how to change their circumstance, change their business, change their life, change their marriage. So you'll go through, and if you just look for somebody will post a comment. I just wish I could find the right guy. And then she'll have 600 comments. 600. You could be at work all week on those 600, and you could just go down through that one thread, and you could just start typing, "Hi, I'm Cindy, and what you said really resonates with me, and I have been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and would it be okay if we're friends? You haven't said anything else. Or add me to your network if you so choose, but man, I would really like to be around somebody like you." You're not saying they could be as negative as all get out, but if they're negative, misery loves company. So they'll add you as a friend. And then when they add you as a friend, you click back and you say, "Hi, this is Jonathan. Thanks for the friend request. I really would love to get together with you. Are you open to a video call so that I can learn about what you do?" I don't see why not. Or some of them will be like, put you off, because one of them will say, "Sure." So you call them up and you let them talk. And then, "Oh, by the way, oh yeah, I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, got a few hanging in the closet." And I tell you, a lot of people that I've helped, man, they're turned their life around. When I met a coach, it made me decide to be a coach. Because it turned, "Oh, you're a coach?" Yeah, I help people find the right person, be more fulfilled in their life. And but anyway, that's not what I'm about. I'm just so glad we're friends. And is there any way I could add value to your life, you think? No, well, we'll just keep me in mind and let's stay in touch. Let's not be strangers. I'm so glad we've had this opportunity to meet. And you were bubbly, and you were full of life, and you were personal, and so that's how I do it, guys. That's how I do it. And then all of a sudden, I say, "Hey, Mark." Mark saw a video. I said, "Mark, he was I." He said, "Well, I'm busy now, but in a week or so we can get together." So we set up a time, and we had a Facebook messenger call, and we both kind of clicked, and he knew I was, because anybody knows what you do on your main page. So like, and also if you go to all these groups, you can post something. You could post a deal that said, and I'm going to close this here, but you could post a deal that says this: I give pointers. I put out messages. I put out how to close a deal, how knowing your closing ratio, and I'll put that in different sales groups. And then what will happen organically is people will see that, they'll like that post, and then they'll send me a friend request because something I said resonated with them. And so now they're in my network. And so then when I do a video, they'll start seeing those videos more often. But that is how I'm getting clients, guys. I'm getting clients because I'm meeting them where they're at. And I'm just letting them know I've been there, done that, which I have. I have been in every scenario and situation.
I bet
But
you
I'm
have.
also intentional. I'm also intentional. Every day, I'm going to show up like a bad penny. I'm going to be the pebble in your frickin' shoe. You will love me or hate me, but you will never forget me. You will see me everywhere. Everywhere. Now, am I everywhere? No, but the perception is I'm everywhere. This guy
I
keeps,
keep at least once a day somewhere.
he keeps turning up. He keeps turning up. This guy keeps turning up. And that's why if you're not turning up, you might as well turn over and go back to bed. You got to turn up. You got to turn up, and you got to make it a disciplined habit. Because if you have the idea, what kind of feelings are you going to have? What kind of actions are you going to have? What kind of results are you going to get? Now, I still get a few shitty results, guys. I don't get them all,
Sure.
but if I never call one, I won't get one.
Right.
If I don't call 100, I won't get 10. If I don't do the activities, and I generally don't do the activities when I'm feeling bad. And when I'm feeling bad because my ideas are bad, and my ideas are bad because my results are bad. But if I don't look at the results anymore and I just continue like the farmer out in his field, if I sow, cultivate, care for, I'm going to reap a harvest. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And so that's when your ideas become your feelings, and your feelings become your actions, and your Margaret Thatcher said years ago, she said, guard your thoughts, for they become your feelings. Guard your feelings, for they become your actions. Guard your actions, for they become your results. And guard your results, for they become your character. And guard your character, for it becomes your destiny. But again, going back to the GPS unit, once you clear out the settings, and once you just get rid of the scenic routes, get rid of the highways and the byways, and you just say, take me on the shortest, fastest route. Because there was a group of individuals that years ago, they were in slavery, and God sent a guy to deliver them, and they were going to their promised land. And it was they were in this desert or in this wilderness for 40 years. It was an 11-day journey. And they were there for 40 years.
Because of their
Unbelief.
unbelief. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at your ideas. So is there ideas and thoughts which were
Oh, we should have,
unbelief?
Yeah, unbelief. Don't think it's going to happen. I don't ever think about it. I don't think about my yearly income becoming my monthly income. I don't think about having a destiny. I don't think about my thoughts are get me to the end of the week. If I can just get to the end of the week, if I can just make it to the end of the day. Well, I got good news. I've got a great way. It's a guarantee that you will get to the end of the day. This is a phenomenal way. Just keep breathing and you'll get to the end of the day. I've been doing it for 49 years. You'll get to the end of the day. And if Lord willing and the creek don't rise, you'll get to the end of the week. But here's the secret of life. This is the secret sauce, guys. I have found this to be true in every situation. This is it right here. Get you guys bigger so I can see you. Let's stop share. There we are. The secret to life is this, guys.
The fruit on the tree. What?
That's the secret of life.
Smile.
Smile. Smile.
Smile and
Be grateful. Be grateful. Be grateful you got a phone. Be grateful you got a computer. Be grateful you got a Facebook Live. You got a TV station right in front of you. You got the world at your fingertips. Yesterday, I was in Austria. I was in New Zealand. I was in Australia. I was in California. And I was in Arizona. And I didn't even have to leave my office. I was all over the globe. I'm internationally known. Before I was internationally known, I said I was internationally known. My wife is like, you can't write that because you're not internationally known, John. And I said, I know a few Mexicans. I'm internationally known.
Right.
And by the way, after I wrote that down and I put it out there on my website, within 3 days, I had 6 clients from every country except my own.
Let me see, am I internationally known? I think I
You are
am.
now.
I do. I do because I've got
You
people
are
in
now.
You are now, yeah.
Yes, I am internationally known.
You know how long it took Tony Robbins and the likes of him before they were internationally known? Before they were known across the pond? 7 years it took Tony for his first gig across the pond.
Excuse me.
People just didn't know who they had. TV, they had a few channels, but that was about it. There was no worldwide networks and CNNs, and NBC was not worldwide. It was just local to us, kind of like Mark's Country had their TV stations and channels, and we were all kind of separate. The web has brought us really closer together. I mean, all the stuff we have today, there is no excuse, guys. There's no excuse. We will get, we will have more, be more. I believe it's not going to take us as long. I mean, I thought 2 days, I mean, several days, and I'm internationally known already. I got 6 clients, and they happen not to be in the U.S. I had an opportunity from London. I was right before UPW, the Monday before UPW. Somebody from London types up, because of what I type. I've been on the net ever since COVID-19. I've been somewhere. I've been doing videos. I had to come home. I had to do everything virtually. And so she says, I've been watching your videos, Jonathan, and you seem like a straight shooter, and you seem so damn authentic. That's the key. Be authentic. Be yourselves. But she said, I don't have anybody else to turn to, John. And I lost my baby a year ago. And I'm ready to end it. And I'm thinking, Britain has nobody that she can turn to. In all of London, there's nobody that she can turn to. I know COVID-19 has shut the place down, but my God. And so I call her up. And I was able to talk her back from the ledge of suicide.
Wow.
And that was, so, and did I charge her? No. I probably should have charged her $10,000 to Master Life, but I didn't. And that's why I say give. Yeah, it's okay to give your services away and help people that need the help, and sometimes barter for services, but get something from them. Because the next day she called me and she said, "Can I do some graphics for you?" It was her way of saying, "I didn't have much money, but I want to," but don't just let people off the hook. And offer, take a donation. The first day I met you, Cindy, you felt like you got out of our conversation. And I said, if you want to donate to a charity that I have, could be your own charity. Could be your ability to, if you want to donate to a charity I have, why don't I help you on some things just real quick? Why don't I, if you have $50 today, why don't I just help you take some time? Mark, you can do this with your technology. Let me help you set up your Facebook a little bit. Let me just take a look at your Facebook at least. If you don't want to get into the CRM, would it be worthwhile for me to just take a look at your Facebook and see if I can help you? That's $49. You only charge $49. The last guy wanted $1,500. Yeah, sure, do it. So just those are things. You're going to give your stuff away for free occasionally, but be a person of value. Offer more than you take. I hope I've exceeded value. You're going to get a copy of this. You're going to be able to access this later. I hope I've exceeded your expectations and your value today. And I hope you would consider me as a coach in the future, because I over deliver. I over deliver. I said 2 hours. I went 2.5 hours. So, and I see the glazed over look on Mark's eyes, because he's actually 6 hours ahead of us right now. So he's a senior citizen, so he has to go to bed early.
I think I'm older than all of you. I can guarantee that.
Well, I have to be up at 5 a.m. because I got to go to the gym. And
you get to be up at 5 a.m. You get to be up at 5 a.m. I go to bed at midnight and I get up at 4. My gosh, these wimps. Anyway,
that's socialism for you. You see, that's over here. We get the extra hour.
So Mark, I'm gonna friend you on Facebook, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And with regards Facebook and stuff, I'm actually thinking about that. There's a couple of things that I've learned that I don't want to tell. We have to end the call now, but if we get another time, I'd like to talk you through some Facebook strategies. One of the things is that it's not about, it's both you and Jonathan, it's not there's a thing called followers, and if you're set your profile in a certain way, you can actually allow people to follow you, so you don't have to be your friends, and they see everything that you do. If they follow you, they see everything, so it's like they're your friend and you're not theirs. Which is great. It's kind of like Twitter, the way you've got followers, but you don't have to follow them. It's the same on Facebook. So I have 173 followers.
Remote thing back there.
Say again?
I said, I think I've seen that before, and it's like this remote place you go and you have to click on it.
Yeah, but if you turn it on, it lets people follow you. So when you get friends requests, most of them will follow you. You don't have to accept their friend request, unless you think that they're like a absolutely great fit. Like I have a lot of people from Thailand for some reason who follow me and want to be friends with me, but I check out their Facebook profile and I can't understand a word, and I look at their Facebook lives and I can't understand a word. So
Mark, before we go, did you still want to get together with me next week?
Yeah, I'll follow up with you.
Okay. And Cindy, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. And
of course.
And if you guys could, if you felt that this was of value today, if I could just take a moment and just share, if you could just share with me what you got out of this today, Cindy, if you would.
Yeah, my limiting beliefs, and what you said about how much money are you making today? Where do you live? And I said 0. And it's because that's what I want to make, because I'm not doing anything about it. And that really shows me where my motivation is and how I need to improve that. And that was a question I was going to ask you about, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And it's all a jumble right now.
So, but it was helpful, right?
Oh yeah, it really reaffirms a lot of what Tony said. You know, from the 7-day comeback challenge. You know, it's good to get that refreshed in your mind.
Something you'd recommend to your family, friends, people around you, something you'd recommend?
Yeah,
worthwhile for them.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Mark? Anything new that you picked up today, or any ideas that you got out of this?
I think the GPS frame of reference, I was not looking at where I was. I kept looking at where I wanted to go, but I didn't know where I am, where I am right now, because I don't like where I am right now. I wasn't looking at it properly. So I can look at that properly, and I can look at where I want to be, because you've focused me on the ideas and thoughts where I've been stuck in the results. So
right.
if I can focus on the ideas and thoughts, it really doesn't matter where I am. It's not me. It's not a reflection of me. It's in the past. Well, all the decisions that got me here are in the past. If I focus on ideas and thoughts and feelings, and become emotionally attached to my ideas and thoughts, which is for me by December earning €12,000 a month. And that's just the start. And I know it's the start because I'm going to keep renewing my goals. Like by 2026, I want to set up this college in Bantry after I buy Bantry House. So I've got to earn millions in 6 years. But that whole idea, like the ideas and thoughts, and being emotionally attached to those rather than sticking your head in the results and feeding your mind that darkness, as you said, and the whole my cup overfloweth, that completely resonates with me now. I know what I need to do.
So again, something you recommend to other people for this
Absolutely.
program?
Absolutely.
The
only thing I'd recommend though, yeah, the only thing I would recommend, Jonathan, is don't let any Irish people on, because they talk too much.
Underage people?
Irish people. Don't let Irish people on, because they talk too much.
I thought you were talking about me. I'd like the talking donkey. The trick is getting me to shut up. Now you guys both see how there is a potential to predict your life like they predict the weather. I mean, if you know where you are, you know where you're going, you know it's going to take some activity to get there. You start doing the activities, but you have to have an intentional purpose. In order to get directions, you have to have intentions. You have to know where you're going. But then the directions will start showing up. The people, the places, the things will start coming into your path, and you'll start to realize it. And I mean, think about our conversation earlier, Mark. Let's suppose I never brought that up today to you, that you should probably think about raising the price up from what it was to. I mean, he probably could get in on it now. He'd probably let you get on it now, Cindy, at the price that it's listed out on the web.
Right.
But because if you want to get 12,000, I mean, and here's another thing, Cindy, how much money do I want to earn? Okay, now what I did with Mark, I made him realize that it was going to take 255 clients a month to get to the level that he wanted. And that really just...
I did make a 5-year plan, and my first year, I already have a set amount that I want, and so I need just 2 clients a day, actually.
Okay.
And then from there, each year, double that.
Okay. Well, then you've got to start doing the activities to get 2 clients a day. So and that means you start intentionally, and then when you start the action, the attraction starts to work. When you start that's why I say get a book on relationships, read through the chapter, figure out what it said to you, then teach what it said to you. Teach the points.
I think that's brilliant.
Teach the points on camera. Just teach them, and then be everywhere. Show up everywhere. You won't show up everywhere. You don't have to be everywhere to show up everywhere. But when you continually do it, same thing for Mark. He could teach something out of a techie book because he speaks that language. But if he brings it into a enlightening form for people, I mean, it's just, you'll start showing up everywhere. And you guys be like the pebble in my shoe. My God, I got to buy this thing from Mark because he just won't shut up about it, man. And he's excited about it. He's telling me about the things I hate about Facebook. And he's telling me on Facebook. So
Yeah, I gotta do more videos because I've done videos where I'm saying like I'm at the kettle making a cup of coffee. So I can really enjoy this coffee because I know that my software is doing my likes for me. So,
that's right. That's
I
right.
love that.
People start. He's got a great thing, Cindy. I would definitely check into it because I'm going to buy into it. I definitely am. So.
Well, we'll have to talk about it, Mark.
yeah, absolutely.
You guys stay in touch.
Yep.
And if you guys, would either of you guys like me to talk to you further about future coaching?
Yeah, I definitely, definitely want to talk to you about that.
How about you, Cindy?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. This last portion, I'm gonna probably edit it out, and I'm gonna put it on my Facebook and my YouTube channel, just so you know. Don't worry about it. But your testimonials really helped me, and that's what I would start encouraging you, Cindy, and including you, Mark, if you have any clients out there that you've been doing things for free for or helping get some testimonials and case studies.
Yeah.
Figure out if it's helped them at all in their life.
Yeah.
So
I've actually got a good testimonial from a person who was interacting with me on comments on personas, and it was a brilliant comment. Like, it's a great testimonial. Like, so.
And you'll even get testimonials on the things that you teach, Cindy. You'll get testimonials, and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, this was brilliant. I really appreciate that." You copy and paste their first and last name and whatever they said, and you put it on your website.
You get a snapshot of the comment.
You get a snapshot of the comment, yeah. But you really, I have a list of everything that people have said about me. So do you have any testimonials? And then I have also got video testimonials on my website. So this is going on my website. So just, hey guys, thanks for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. I'm expecting great things. So go predict your life like they predict the weather, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.
See ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.